So in the last video, we started talking about inheritance using entity framework, and the kind of inheritance that we talked about was table per type inheritance. So what we were doing in that video was we were trying to simulate inheritance inside the database using one-to-one relationships in child tables. So what we did was we created two different tables for Japanese cars and German cars and created one-to-one relationship with a central car table. And what was happening there is if you wanted to store common details pertaining to all the cars, they would stay in the cars table, whereas details which were specific to a Japanese car would stay in the Japanese car table. Details which were specific to a German car would stay in the German car table, and there would be a one-to-one relationship between Japanese cars and German cars and cars. What that allowed you to do is it allowed you to simulate a sort of an inheritance model inside the database, and every entity in the object model had an underlying table where specific information pertaining to that entity would go to that table, whereas we had a common car entity which we made abstract so that nobody could use it directly, and all properties which were common to both Japanese cars and German cars would go through that entity into the cars table. That was table per type inheritance. What we are going to talk about in this video is table per hierarchy inheritance. And what's different in this inheritance model is the fact that we are still simulating inheritance using the database, but this time we're going to simulate inheritance using a single table, which means even though I would have multiple entities in my object model, they would all store data in the same table. Let's go and illustrate what I mean by that. So I've deleted all other tables from my database. The only table that is relevant in this case is the cars table, and that's what we're going to use. Cars table has a car ID, which is a unique identifier, auto increment, and a brand and a model. These are two things which are common. Let's take the similar example that we used last time, the example of a Japanese car and a German car. So we're going to do that here also, but this time what we're going to do is we're going to store all the information pertaining to Japanese cars as well as German cars using a single table. So we're going to start by storing a car type here, and we're going to say this is an nvarchar 150. This is going to store the word Japanese or German, and in case of Japanese cars I'm going to store Japanese car model details, or Japanese car additional details, or more details, more information. This is nvarchar as well, and I'm going to store German cars more information, and this is going to be nvarchar as well. Notice that I want to allow nulls in both these cases, and the reason why I want to do this is in case of Japanese cars, the German cars additional detail field is going to be empty, whereas for German cars, the Japanese cars additional details field is going to be null. So I want to allow null in both these cases. Depending on their car type, one of these two values are going to get are going to get a concrete value, whereas the other one is going to remain null. So I'm going to allow nulls in the database, and I'm going to go ahead and save these changes to my database. So that's my table level changes done. Let's come into the object model right here, and let's try to do a table per hierarchy inheritance here. So let's go ahead and do an update model from database. We're going to go and fetch my car table. Let's take the cars, drop it here. Now this is a single table that I'm fetching here. What I want is, out of the single table, I want to create an object hierarchy, and I want to create inheritance, and I want to use two different objects altogether, Japanese cars and German cars, and I want to block this object out. I don't want anybody to access this object directly. So now what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start adding my own entities out here, and I'm going to come and say add an entity called Japanese car, and the base type of that entity is car. So notice that entity framework draws an inheritance arrow for me, and I'm going to add another entity out here, and I'm going to say this one is German car, and again the base type is car. I'm going to click OK. So I've gone ahead and created two different entities altogether. Now notice that this field, Japanese car additional details, was not really required in the car table itself. So I'm going to cut this out, and I'm going to put this as a property inside my Japanese entity. And similarly, the German car is not required here, so I'm going to cut this and paste this as a property inside German cars, right? And I'm not going to access car type directly. In fact, I'm going to mark this entire thing, this entire car, just like we did in the previous video also. I'm going to mark this as abstract so that people cannot start accessing this one directly. I either want people to create German cars or Japanese cars, and I don't want them to touch this car type property, because I either want Japanese or German to go inside this. I don't want any arbit values to go inside this, so I'm going to remove this property altogether from here. Now, because when you're creating a Japanese car, the value of this property inside Japanese car cannot be null, so I'm going to mark this nullable false. Similarly, in German cars, this property cannot be null, so I'm going to mark this as nullable false. Now, I've created two different entities, both of them inherit out of the car, but I still need to tell entity framework, because I've not drawn these entities out of the database, they're independent entities. I need to tell entity framework which tables they're going to store values into. So I'm going to right click this and click on table mappings, and this allows me to do just that. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the cars table from here and tell entity framework that, look, every time I store a Japanese car, I'm actually trying to store a value inside the car table. Now, there are certain conditions. When am I going to store values inside the car table? I'm going to store values inside the car table when my car type is Japanese. So every time I'm storing value, I want my car type to automatically become Japanese. I want to make sure that my German car model information is null, or let's do it the other way, and my Japanese car information is not null, and my German car information is null. So three conditions out here, very important, that every time I'm using this entity, what I want to do is I want to make sure that the value of car type automatically becomes Japanese. The value of Japanese car more information field in that table is not null, and the value of German car more information field inside that table is actually null. Now notice that in this case, Japanese car is actually mapped to a string, it's mapped to the right database table, whereas German car is not, and I don't want it to, because I don't want to store values inside the German car more information field in this case. Now what we want to do with the German car entity is exactly the same thing. We want to map it to the car table, but this time the condition that we want to specify is that the car type in this case is equal to German. At the same time, we want to say that German car more information is not null, and Japanese car is null. So straightforward, we're going to go ahead and save this. We've gone ahead and made the changes to the data model, and we're going to validate these changes, and notice that we have no errors here. Validation is complete. So what we've done is we've created two different entities out of car, Japanese car and German car. We've told entity framework that, look, in case I'm creating a Japanese car, the common fields which were there in the car remain intact, but in case of Japanese car, what I want to do is I still want to store the Japanese car in the exact same table, but I want the car type to be Japanese. I want the Japanese car more information field to be not null, and I want the German car more information field to be null. Straightforward. Let's start writing code now. We're going to start accessing the database now, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new Japanese car and a German car. So let's start by creating a Japanese car. And in this case, we're going to say the brand is Japanese brand 1. The model is Japanese model 1. And notice that in this case, because it's a Japanese car, we've added an additional attribute called Japanese car more information. I'm using this attribute and saying that the value of this attribute is Japanese car more information 1. So that's my Japanese car, and we're going to go ahead and quickly create a German car as well. And in this case, we're going to come in and say brand is equal to German brand 1. In this case, model is equal to German model 1. And in this case, the additional field that we get is German car more information. So we're going to store in German car more information 1 out here. So two entities that we've created, Japanese car and German car, because both inherit out of the car entity, I can actually go ahead and start putting this whole thing inside the using, and I'm going to say db is a new instance of my object context. What we have is two different car instances created. One is a Japanese car, one is a German car, and now we're going to start storing this inside cars, and I'm going to say car dot add object Japanese car db dot cars dot add object German car, and I'm going to say db dot save changes, and let's do a quick console dot write line Japanese and German car saved in the database, and let's do a console dot read line. So let's go ahead and run this code, and let's take a look at what entity framework did in the database. Let's open the cars table now, and notice that entity framework has injected two records in the database exactly as it should have. Based on the condition, when it was storing a Japanese car, it has gone ahead and updated the car type field to Japanese, whereas in case of German car, it has gone ahead and updated the car type property to German. In case of Japanese car, it has left information for German cars column absolutely null, and in case of German cars, it has done the same with the Japanese car additional information column. So what we are doing here is we are creating two different entities, and both of these entities have the same underlying database table where the values are going in, and based on these conditions we are setting which fields will get used for which entity, whereas which fields will remain unused for which entities. So straightforward example where we added two cars to the database. Now let's say we wanted to get a Japanese car and change values inside it, exactly similar to the previous video where we did get a Japanese car from the database, and the way to get it would be db.cars, because of course we've created the Japanese car entity on the data model. It's not directly mapped to any database table, so we're going to just use the cars collection and say let's get a car of type Japanese car, where the brand name is equal to Japanese brand 1. So now we are able to get the Japanese car, and we are able to change its more information to Japanese car more information 10, and we're just saving these changes to the database. So this Japanese car more information 1, we're changing it to Japanese car more information 10. Quickly change this to Japanese car modified in the database. Let's run this. And notice that entity framework goes out here and updates this value. So essentially what we're doing is we're fetching a Japanese car and modifying it, and because it's storing the value in the same database, it still continues to leave this null. Car type still remains Japanese, but it's going and making the relevant changes to the field based on what we did here. Of course, deleting a Japanese car is no different than deleting a normal car, because eventually you are pointing to the same database and you're using inheritance. So you could actually come in out here and say db.cars.delete object, and because Japanese car is inherited out of normal car, you can use abstraction and pass Japanese car to delete this particular object and save changes, and say Japanese car deleted from the table. And let's run this. And notice how entity framework goes ahead and deletes the Japanese car from the table. Inheritance that we're using here, which is table per hierarchy, we have created multiple entities out here using the designer itself, and we've set conditions based on where the values of those entities would go. And notice how we're using the exact same table for all these three entities. Essentially, this entire hierarchy of objects is using the same underlying table, which is why we call it table per hierarchy inheritance. So straightforward, simple concept. Of course, here we've used just one additional field. The point here is that you could have multiple different fields pertaining to Japanese car and fields pertaining to German cars. All of them could reside in the same table. In case of Japanese cars, the field pertaining to German cars would remain null. In case of German cars, field pertaining to Japanese cars would remain null, and you would use the same underlying table for your entire hierarchy of objects. So that's table per hierarchy inheritance. In the next series of videos, we'll show you how you can expose your entity model using a REST based API. But this is what we have for this video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.